I think I can run away from everyone on the island. So the biggest kind of failure I can have, or the biggest mistake I can do, is to go too fast, too early, or trying to put pressure on other athletes too early. Back 10 years ago, like even here in Norway, we were like the young kids who probably did well on sprint distance and Olympic distance, but we would never be able to last a half Ironman or Ironman, you know. And then we always had this kind of self belief that, of course, we can do a half Ironman, but we don't really bother doing it because now it's all about the Olympics. And then Gustav turned up in 2016 when he didn't qualify for Rio, and he won Haugesund, the pro race there, as 20 years old, I think.
Yeah, it was 20.
Yeah, and then suddenly they kind of came back. Yeah, they might be able to race Olympic distance and half Ironman, but they can never race full distance. So I think the only reason they don't believe we can do it is because we haven't done it.
No, I think they're starting to believe. I'll tell you what, I think people are starting to believe. I love it. I think that it's so refreshing that a group of you from Norway, that entire group, that you state your intentions and you don't buy into the chatter, and you go about and you prove with performance. It's amazing. I haven't seen momentum like this since the Luke Van Leer days.
But I got to do like 9 hours of race pace on Monday and Tuesday combined before I got the wild card on Wednesday. So I was actually thinking there when I did this, like on Tuesday, I had 3 hours race pace on the bike and then 2 hours race pace on the run. And I was watching Frankfurt in front of me, the live coverage, and I was just thinking, okay, it's almost like I hope that I'm not getting the wild card because I'm really prepared for Frankfurt now. But also, on the other hand, it makes it much more likely that I can have a good race against Alex Z in the grand final. So that's maybe the main thing, that I now have a fair chance. It's going to be a proper battle for the overall in Edmonton. And then also I have more enough time to prepare for Kona after. It's like 2 months of pure race-based training, probably with a lot of testing at home and just trying to find out when to get to the big island. And I've heard that you shouldn't really stay close to the race venue because it's too busy and you don't really get to relax. So we will see where I kind of plan that kind of stuff. But I really do want to be down there early and also go through the course a lot of times before the race.
Now that you get an invitation spot, is of course it's for me as a coach, I think it's really good. Okay, in one way you could say it could be really good for him to test out the distance before, but you look at the other hand, he's in really good position for the overall grand final, overall position in the World Series, and it's very good that he can go to Edmonton with rested legs and actually perform at the level that he needs to be, and then switch to the Kona. And I think Kristian could tell about his expectation, but in the way from the lab and what we have seen in the way of training, we are not afraid of the distance. We are not afraid of the preparation you need to do. We know, of course, this will be a little different game, but believe it or not, he had a body and he has a mind to really execute well in Ironman race. So I think it would be a really interesting day in Kona in October.
And you guys do a lot because of the training, the way you guys train anyway. It's almost an Ironman. You have an Ironman training philosophy and you just apply it to short course racing. So it's sort of like, I think like Jan Frodeno, that the step up in distance is not going to be difficult at all. But what will you apply post the grand final? Will you go to altitude? Will you do an altitude block before it, or are you just going to stay at sea level and then go into Kona and do it that way?
I think it's going to be, we will trade off a little bit VO2 max because I have high enough VO2 max for Kona. So I guess it will be sea level training and then heat preparation. Because from what we have done so far, it's not the VO2 max that's a limited factor. And by going to altitude, that's maybe what we normally try to increase. So it's going to be just trying to get the power up and the muscular stamina up, because one thing is to run sub 3 minute pace for 10K. Another thing is to do 3:45 for 2.5 hours off 4 hours or so on the bike in a tight TT position. So it's more about that muscular stamina training.
And how will you pivot from I don't really need pivot from that glucose burning to say more of a fat burning athlete as you move across to that longer distance? Will you apply some of that slower pace training post? I'm just interested in it. It's fascinating. I think my personal opinion is you're going to kill it. Having watched you do the 70.3s and just seeing your lactate numbers or reading it online and see what you do, mate, that's why you're in the sub 7. Your no limit attitude is phenomenal. I can't wait. But I'm just curious, the nutrition side of things, have you looked at that and that whole different energy systems that it takes to be effective over the longer distance? Is it something you guys think of, or is it a completely new approach?
I think my energy system is well enough. Like, for example, on the run, I have 3:30 as aerobic threshold. So I can even go 15 seconds slower there without taking from the carbs.
Yeah, okay.
It's just about muscular stamina. And I think I can, not easily, but it's just about using the weeks well to get my aerobic threshold up to 300 watts as well on the bike. So I think that's kind of going to adapt easily. It's more about staying for long enough in the same position.
In general, I would say that we do a lot of aerobic stuff and aerobic threshold session too. It's also in short distance races. It is starting to run with so high glycogen level as possible, even at the Olympic distance. So if you can use fat as a burning, when you are at the Olympic distance, it's always very good. And we have that in mind also when we are training for short distance. So it's not like it will be any really big changes, but of course you need to increase the volume at that intensity. But in many ways, it's not that total change in training philosophy and stuff like that.
Yeah. Look, I know Luke Van Leer did it. He came out on debut, no Ironman in his legs, short course athlete, second, and won Kona 1996. And I think, have you run it through your head and you're right, how you think the race will unfold for you, Kristian? Are you going to win it on the run? Will there be a break where you just go with the pace and move on the run? Have you visualized that in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to happen with 10K to go. It's I think I can run away from everyone on the island. So the biggest kind of failure I can have, or the biggest mistake I can do, is to go too fast, too early, or trying to put pressure on other athletes too early. So for me, it's more about surviving until the last 10K. So that means swimming with the first pack, just staying there, not really worrying about if the guys from behind is catching us or not. It's not really my responsibility. And then just doing the nutrition right and coming to the run. It's just about going at my pace or with the front pace for as long as possible. And then with 10K to go, it's more than enough time to smash it.